Good morning, everyone. Oh my gosh. Church bells. I want to invite you to pause and breathe and just observe for a moment. Let's allow this moment to unfold. I wish you a glorious morning. I want to start out with some breath. Why? Because I want you to be in this moment with me right now. I want you to establish a deeper state than maybe you've had all week. I want to introduce resonant breathing to you this morning. And rather than the fancy terminology, I want you to breathe in for a count of 5. So it would look like this. Sit comfortably. If you can put your feet on the ground, that would be great. You can breathe in for a count of 5. Let your belly expand and just like a circle. So it'd be like find your breath. So resonant breathing is not holding for 5. It's breathing in for 5, breathing out for 5. Breathing in for 5, breathing out for 5. It's a flow. However, do what feels right for you. The idea in James Nestor's book, Breath, he talks about resonant breathing. And what it does, it allows the organs, the heart, and even the brain, everything becomes in symmetry. Julie Gandy talks about this as well in her work. It's in Heart Math. It's called coherence. So the power of pure presence, it's harmony. It's not disharmony. Disharmony is when you're fighting against yourself. You're not in alignment with what is. Discontent. Presence is harmony. It's a state of flow. And it's a state that we want to, I don't want to say achieve, because words are limited at best. It's a state of allowance. And breath and observation is the gateway. And we're going to do that this morning. So as we do this, I want you to usher in something you appreciate this morning. And this show is going to be filled with content and then no content. Content and then no content. And this is a representation of life in that the world is content. The world is all content. It's filled with content. It's labels. It's judgment. It's endless. And that gets in us. It gets on us. And we end up replicating that. And we end up thinking and overthinking. And we can, all of a sudden, we're hypnotized and we don't even realize we're overthinking. What we most need is lack of content. Breath is the key to create lack of content, the cessation of thought, the deeper dive into your core that can only be discovered through the void of thinking. The deepest part of yourself doesn't bang against the wall, it doesn't scream. The deepest part of yourself is the subtle resonance that's always there. And it becomes clarified in the void of the thinking mind, which has largely been programmed by what you've been told and what you tell yourself over and over and over again. And a lot of what you tell yourself creates disharmony, discontent, the hyperdrive to get somewhere else other than right here. I'm going to share with you a conversation I had yesterday. I was electrified from head to toe. Your cells want, every cell in your body craves symmetry, synergy, harmony. Your brain, the thinking and the overthinking creates a disconnect and causes disharmony, which leads to dis-ease. And I'm going deep already, but let me share with you. I'd love to you just to share what you're appreciating this morning. And I have some help today. Our sponsor, Duchess DJ Love, is helping me, and I'm really grateful for that. She's our sponsor. She's going to be monitoring the chat. She's going to be helping me keep the show in flow. I like that. Keep the show in flow. What's true for you now? What do you appreciate this morning? We do want to grab your shares today, but this is our newly minted hourglass. And you can see it says pause and breathe. It's got the Power Pure Presence logo. And this evolved from the Flashpoint show, but it's relevant here. And we're going to be doing this later today for our summit, our Flashpoint Summit at 1 p.m. Eastern. Stay tuned for more on that. This is the sand that represents the flow of life. It's this ever opening, ever expanding thing. And we are either consciously in the expansion and the co-creation of, or we're in discontent, regretting a mistake, regretting something that happened in the past, trying to resurrect a grain of sand that's already passed through this moment. Just as these leaves fall around me, and I'm going to share this location. It's beautiful here today. And I just got the police just drove by, so I'm just, and he didn't bat an eye. So pause and breathe, pause and breathe. This is a national historic site, so that's why I said that. So it's the power of pure presence, my friends. And that sand just continues to flow. And then we have this up here, which hasn't happened yet. This future has yet to be revealed to us. And we can have our vision. We can look up and create the vision. Some of you need to look up physically, not just metaphorically. Some of you have been looking down, looking behind you, worrying about the future, that grain of sand, what if it comes? What if that one thing that I'm worried about? And then we overthink about it. We double down on the overthinking. That means we double down on getting out of a state of coherence. We double down on stress. We double down on anxiety. When we overthink, we double down. We increase, we intensify the thinking. We try to get here. But I want to invite you here today. That's what this is about. This is about being in the moment, and it's about living more fully now. That's what this is about. And I have a conversation I had yesterday. I'm going to share it with you. And I was electrified from head to toe. All the cells in my body just really just fired up and excited. But I want you to pause and breathe and just imagine here. Just imagine you're in life as it's unfolding. Isn't that beautiful? Like, just as the leaves behind me, they blow in the wind, they're in the flow of life. They're not fighting the wind. They are dancing with the wind. They are in the flow of life. Will you be in the flow of life today? I'm feeling the need to step out of the picture already because words are just little nuggets. This is life. So I'm going to step out of the picture. I want you to breathe, and I want you to metaphorically, physically allow yourself into the flow of life. Avoid being so harsh on yourself. So here we are. I'm going to do this right now. I just feel led to do this right now. This is about expanding the moment, allowing the moment to unfold. Be conscious with your breath. Whatever breath works for you, you can do the circle. And allow the belly to expand. And I want to invite you to do this. Don't go, yeah, I know that. Oh, I know, yeah, I know breathing. No. Immerse yourself. Flow into life. Look at the surroundings. Observe. Be in the observation. What do you hear? What do you see? What do you feel? So here we go. Oops. Let me just. We're navigating. Let's take a moment to say good morning to all of our people that are with us live. I want to thank Roku. Our show is now on Roku. You can add it to your Roku channel. It has its own channel. If you go in there and just search for Presence, it'll come up. So the show's on Roku. You can sit on your couch, watch it on your TV, wherever's appropriate for you. So we're really grateful for that. I'm really grateful that we have another medium to share this message that we can live life fully now. I'm going to share a story with you. I have some bonus content for you. This location, I'm in Old City, Philadelphia, and for those of you coming to Flashpoint, you're going to be right near this location. It's like you're walking through a history book. So here we are in the middle of a city, a few 100,000 people. The whole area has about over 1 million population, but in and around the city, it's a few 100,000. And we are in the city, and we're present in the city right now. Did you notice the beautiful backdrop here? The sun trickling through, the leaves blowing. This is where we start. It's so subtle, you could miss it. And that's the power of pure presence. It's so subtle, you could miss it. If you're not ready for it, you'll miss it. And this is the message, we shall not cease from exploration. And in all of our exploring, we shall arrive to where we started and know the place for the first time. Everyone is hyper focused to get out of their present moment. I say everyone, most of us. And that's why we need this show. That's why we come back to this show. I had a conversation yesterday, but let me grab your shares first, and then I'll tell you the story. So let's welcome our guests from all platforms, our guests that are in live today. Thank you, Mandy, for being here. Good morning. Good morning, Michelle. Sending you lots of love and prayers. I trust you're on the upswing, feeling better. Good morning, Juanita from South Africa. We had a great conversation yesterday. Glad that you're with us today. And we loved it. That the hourglass is a great metaphor to be in the present moment. So every time we look at the hourglass, it's like, am I being present? Am I living in the moment? Am I in a state of coherence? Good morning, Sunny from Australia. We're glad you're here today. So we got the hashtag pause and breathe as our little trigger word that we can stop and do that at any time. Because and what I love about this show is that it kind of represents life, right? It's content and no content. Think about your life. It's like the pressure heats, there's pressure, and then you're seeking the void, but you don't know it. Most people are seeking the void. Yes, put God first. Put God first. And if Sunday's a very spiritual day. It's like you always hear about the presence of God in the spiritual text, right? The presence of. This behind me is a garden. It's a replica of a garden from the 1800s. It was dedicated by Lady Bird Johnson, Lyndon B. Johnson's wife, to this. So you'll see that later. You'll see that later. So good morning, everyone. Just what are you feeling this morning? How are you doing? What do you appreciate? I really want you to dial into what you appreciate. Type in what you appreciate. I appreciate challenges that have been going in the past few years are now starting to shift. There's a shift. And I always pray for people's growth. I pray for growth. I want you to grow. I want you to expand. And growth is not easy. It's uncomfortable. And this is why we can struggle, because we want it to be easy. So let me share the conversation I had yesterday. I was talking to a gentleman, and he was talking about how we're becoming more conscious and aware as a society. We're understanding more. And even in this space, like, I do my best to stay out of labels and boxes, because I use them as tools. I don't identify them as who I am or what I like, because guess what? The tree doesn't care about the label you gave it. The sky doesn't care about the label that you gave it. It just is. So I do my best. Everything's a paradox, right? Every truth is a half truth, because we use words, because we bring our ego in and we want to label everything. We say, oh, I got that. I understand that. We labeled that. But the truth is, everything is dynamic. You're dynamic. Your body is dynamic. Let's bring some AI into this. You know what AI? It's like the new term. Here's my AI. Your body, you are adaptive and intentional. That's your AI. You're adaptive. You have the ability to adapt. Your resonance, your coherence. The more coherent you are, the more in a state of like a solid resonance that you are, the more adaptable you become. The more discontent, disharmony you're in, you're not adaptable. It's hardening of the attitudes. So you become adaptive and intentional. I'm adaptive. I'm the leaves. I'm able to dance with the breeze. I'm able to flow, but then I bring intention. I bring openness. I bring spaciousness, and then I bring intention, not unconscious reaction to the external. So the conversation I had yesterday, we were talking. He was like, "Yeah, when the world wakes up." He made a comment like in other words, and I am so perceptive to this now, to myself and others. So it was when the world wakes up. You're like, in other words, we're in a state of this. And I said to him, I said, no, like, this is it. The moment that you're in alignment, the moment you're in alignment with the present, the moment you're in a state of harmony, that's it. Because we're never going to change the polarity of life. The evil's going to be there. We're never going to get to a state of utopia. The utopia is right now in what is expanding in your life. What are you cultivating? What are you expanding? Are you cultivating healing and love, or are you hyper focused on something external that was done to you? And everybody's journey is their own. I'm not saying we can't flip a switch, but the way to do that through the power of pure presence is to embrace what is. And so I wrote some notes down, but as I shared with this gentleman, I said, and when I said, when you're in that state, you're expanding. You just changed it. He had chills all over. I had chills. I was goosebumps head to toe, because we realized that it was right now. It was happening in the moment. It wasn't in the utopian future that I just can never reach. And in our lives, we create the utopian fantasy in the future. When I get there, this is the there. This is it. What are you expanding right now? And we can expand our awareness and our consciousness right now. And it's so liberating. It's so and it's so subtle. And this is the way I believe God has planned it this way. We shall not cease from exploration. And in all of our exploring, we shall arrive where we started right now and know it for the first time. This has been the most powerful, transformative message in my life. And I love I'm going to grab the Ben Franklin quote for those of you that were on the Ben Franklin. So Ben Franklin walked these streets. His home was a few blocks from here. And he wrote in Poor Richard's Almanac, the golden age is never the present age. The golden age is never the present age. Why? Because we as individuals and we as a culture, we fantasize about the past, the good old days. Those were the good old days. The future, when we get to that utopian moment, when those people stop doing that, when that politician stops doing that, and we just create an illusion that never is, life is now. And the moment we do that, we live life fully now. We're liberated. We're in harmony with God and woe man. It's now. Isn't that so liberating? You're enough right now. Sure, you can conquer the mountain. Sure, you can strive for that future destination. Absolutely. But not forsaking right now. Not at the expense of today. Not at the expense of right now. Right now is the gift. And I see, when I look at society, I see everybody trying to get out of right now. Changing the body, drugs, alcohol, even destination addiction. And I'm not saying you can't look pretty, put your makeup on, do your hair. That's all good. But enjoy it. Enjoy the moment as it unfolds. I, many times, did not enjoy it most of the time. It was most of the time. Just, and sometimes it happens now. Like I'm just, all of a sudden, I'm like trying to get to this future moment. I'm like, wait, if you're not enjoying right now, if you don't fall in love with right now, when you get to that next moment, you're going to be in that. So if you're discontent right today, you're going to be discontent when you get to that future moment. Let me grab your shares. So this is DJ. DJ's in the back. She's quoting on my behalf. This is beautiful. Wherever you are, be there. If you can be fully present now, you'll know what it means to live. Oh my God. I get so excited about it because I feel like it's so subtle and it's a gift. Let me just grab some of your shares here. I appreciate all the little things. It's the thousand little things that are going to happen today in your life. And you're either going to open up and expand them. And that's what we do with this show. And we're going to do it again. So, why do I do these simple little things where it's like, okay, Austin, there's a tree. But if you can start there, you are expanding appreciation in the small. And the seemingly insignificant becomes what? Significant. I want you to put your hands on your heart. Yeah, and thank you. I'm going to stand up here in a moment and we're going to pause and breathe, but I want you to put your hands on your heart. And I want you to breathe, let your belly expand. And I want you to appreciate you today. I want you to appreciate yourself for showing up here today. I want you to appreciate your vulnerability, because in your vulnerability is your strength. Appreciate your own presence as you reflect. Appreciate the times you've been showing up in people's lives, people that love you. Appreciate when you show up for them and recognize when you're not present with them. And I want to say to you, that's okay too. Why? Because we're not striving for some perfect utopian moment. We're merely allowing presence. So honor the moments you're present with their loved ones and recognize the times that you're not. And that's all you need to do. You see, that is consciousness. That's awareness. That's the key. And I'm going to share with, so I'm going to take a moment here to stand, but I want you to keep that hand on your heart and just appreciate. And whatever's coming up, whatever's coming up, honor it. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to pause and breathe here. And I'm going to share with you, I have bonus video for you. And I also have some notes that I scratched down. See, what happens for me is about 24 to 48 hours before this show, I get these downloads. And I had a download last night. I was actually talking to Dana and it just came through. So I'm going to share that with you. We're going to give a shout out to our sponsor right now, who's in the back room. And she is, and I really appreciate this. This has been great to have somebody that has your back. So I appreciate DJ's gallivanting like a royal, Duchess DJ Love. She's in there in the green room there. And we're going to stop here. We're going to pause and breathe and just allow the flow. And think about it this way. Is presence fast or slow? Is presence fast? Oh, I'm going to get present. Or is it like, and it's neither. It's just the opening. And the breath is the key. So let's do that now. Let's take a moment to pause and breathe. And I'm going to ask DJ to just keep an eye on the chats. DJ, if you want to share some of the chats that you think are noteworthy, feel free to do that. I'm just going to step out for a couple minutes. When I come back, I'm going to share the bonus video. We're going to have some more spaciousness here. We're going to have some video on this garden behind me, this garden from the 1800s, a beautiful way to be present in a busy city, right? So I'm going to step out and let's keep moving. Got a couple feisty squirrels over here. How you feeling? This is pretty amazing. Just loving this. And if you hang around, once this show is over, I'm gonna go live on my Facebook page. I'm gonna walk around here. I'm gonna literally walk around Old City and take you for a walk with me. It's just so beautiful. It's just a beautiful space. Thanks, DJ, for putting up the shares for everybody. Really appreciate that. So before I get into the bonus video, I want to share with you that we have a summit today. For those of you that are involved in the Flashpoint community, bringing to me Psalms 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Yeah. Beautiful. Amen. Yeah. Think about wanting. This is perfect because I was thinking about this earlier. Wanting, hyper focus on wanting creates discontent. And it's a balance between having a vision, but cultivating presence and peace and expanding from there, not discontent in the moment. And then when I get there, I have peace. That's a paradox. That's a what do you call that? That's not in alignment. I have discontent now, but when I get there, the discontent is going to go away. The discontent needs to go away now. And you cultivate the vision. You create joy in the doing. This is why people say fall in love, do what you love. Fall in love with the doing. And the fruit of it, you have the vision. If you want an orchard, you have the vision of the orchard, but you fall in love with the planting, the watering. You fall in love with the process, and the fruit will take care of itself. You still have the vision of the fruit. Eckhart Tolle calls it structural tension. It creates enthusiasm, entheos, God within, but joy in the moment. Now, is it always this way? No, because there's no utopian moment. There's the paradox. But it's a constant calibration. And where do we get to that calibration? Through the awareness. When we turn on our awareness and our consciousness, we turn the light on, and then we start to expand again. And I've had this happen where, anyway, I don't want to get too deep here right now, but it's a powerful force. It's the miracle seeds. It's where miracles happen. Okay, so we have a summit. Let's see. I got this, DJ. I'm gonna put this in the chat. But DJ, if you could put it in the Facebook. Sometimes when I post in the StreamYard here, it doesn't translate over. And for those of you that are getting this later, if you just search Flashpoint Live Summit or Austin J. Haynes, find the YouTube channel, it'll be there. It's a 2-hour summit. It's happening today where we're going to share some breakthrough stories. It's going to be very inspirational. I can tell you some of the folks that we're working with, some of them are on here too. Mandy's on here. Let's see who else we have on here. It's going to be in there. DJ, obviously, Duchess DJ Love. She's going to be at our live event. All right, let's get to the bonus footage. And then I'm going to share some of my notes that I had shared this morning. So here's the bonus footage for you. We're going to check the audio. So I'm going to ask DJ to check the audio for me, because when I put the video on, I want to remove myself out of the screen so you can see it. So if for some reason the audio doesn't work, we're just going to retool it up. Okay, here we go. I get goosebumps watching that, and it because again, it's the subtle, in the simplicity you find the profound things of life. If you just look, if you just become aware, and when you can find those little things can make so much difference in your life, and it just becomes a beautiful life becomes a beautiful experience. And the other thing I shared with the gentleman yesterday, this is profound too. This is a little deeper dive, but I'm going to share it. Like, if you think about it, the powerful thing in life, and if you think about the great people in history, this is going to resonate. They had an ability to be present and conscious, right? But it's when you're in captivity, but you still feel free. It's when you don't have a penny to your name and you still feel rich and abundant. It's the peace that passeth all understanding. That is, to me, it just transcends everything. And when I think about it, like, it's a paradox. And the world can't make sense of that. The world can't make sense of it. But we've had people come through our circle that have experienced this. If you think about the great people of time, the Nelson Mandelas feeling free in captivity, the Gandhis feeling peace in a state of war, and then people feeling, or feeling rich when they don't have a penny to their name, liberated and free, not under the guise of society's boxes and rules. This isn't an anti anything show, but because we need boxes and rules. But when we sacrifice the present moment, when we sacrifice our life, when we sacrifice living fully now because of the boxes and the rules, the idea is to bring us back to the present moment. So let me share some of these notes. We got about 14 minutes left. Oh, look at this. We got some major light coming in. This is beautiful. Wow. I'm going to keep going. Presence in the city. This is so subtle you can miss it. How can presence change your life? How can presence change your life? Presence creates a pure space. It's the clean canvas. It's the cessation of thinking. It's it's allowing and extending no content. Spaciousness. Pure observation creates the vacuum that is void of unconscious reaction to every thought. In essence, you're no longer a victim of your reactions to your own thinking. It's the nature of presence. The awareness of something, an emotion, a thing, a person, already changes it. Just the pure awareness of it. Here's the thing we want to avoid. The lack of presence will cause a person to double down on the behaviors that got them in a bad place in the first place. So the lack of awareness, the lack of presence will cause somebody to double down on the behaviors that put them in a place they didn't want to be anyway. And if you can be comfortable with the vacuum, comfortable with the shakiness of life, I say comfortable, embracing a state of pure embrace, breath, observation, a moment of recognition, allowing, you are ushering in consciousness, and you are just it's so subtle. It's a sliver where you can step away from being a victim of every thought and every emotion that arises in you. It's healing. It's a healing energy that you can cultivate in you. And not only do you heal, you create the presence to heal others. In the future, we're going to do a show, Power of Pure Presence in Relationships. We are going to do that at some point. I just don't know when, because to me, this presence in a relationship has the ability to transcend. And again, it's simple and it's profound. It's bringing no content to the relationship when you're in a state of trying to understand somebody, when you're in a state to allow somebody space. It's pure space, it's pure presence in the context of a relationship. Because every relationship, same thing as society, it's focused on content. DJ, do we have any shares that are noteworthy? We're co-creating in the present moment, by the way. So this is new. There was a couple quotes you put in there, so feel free. I'm open to. So don't double down on bad behavior. Keep awareness of the vacuum. You have a purple. Yeah, look at that. Oh my, wow. Something magical always happens. It's really amazing. Oh my gosh. Love the flowers and the trees, so peaceful. Be happy now. This moment is all you got. Uh, we'll be quoting that tomorrow at my queen's funeral. Amen. Breath, observation, allowing life in. Allow the flow of emotions. Observe, let it go, rise higher, moving on. Rising higher, moving on. I think, and this call is really for you to be who you really are. Your truest self, your truest expression in life, allowing the moments to unfold, just as we're doing right now. We're just allowing this beautiful space to happen. Let me get in a couple announcements, and then I just want to allow the show to just evolve into this beautiful closing for today. And if you're just joining, I am going to go live around here in Old City. I just love it. I'm going to walk around. I just love being present in this place. I feel like I'm walking through a history book. It evokes feelings of the past, but it's a reflective kind of a state. It's in the moment, and I want to be able to give that to you so you can join. So if you want to join, it'll be on the Facebook page. Probably, I'll put it on my personal page. It'll be easy for you to get. But you decide how you live your life. In the meantime, you can hide fear or you can live life. And I just want to encourage you to embrace everything that you're going through right now. There's nothing wrong with you. The only thing that is just to embrace what is in you. You are an expression here right now. You're alive. You're breathing. You're an expression here right now. Embrace who you are without judgment. Without judgment. Free. Expression. Heart-centered. Not here trying to prove an ideal or an ideology. Not here trying to prove. Here. Heart. Connection. Expansion. Freedom. Liberation. Starts here. Expands out. It's not the treasure's here. It's not, I'm not going to go dig over there and find the buried treasure, although that would be cool. But it's here. It's here. It's in you. There's no accidents in the universe in terms of you are here on purpose. I love this space with you. I love being here with you. I love every one of you that show up. This is going to be streamed out through a podcast. We'll post that. It's on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, E360 TV goes out to Apple TV. And now we have our own channel on Roku, and we will have our own channel on Amazon Fire TV. So searchable. You can add it to your channel. The TVs, the smart TVs, they have the Amazon Fire, Roku, and we want to welcome in our Roku audience. So I welcome you if you're listening on Roku. In the future, we're going to have some QR codes and all that. Those QR codes are just ways for you can scan from your digital device so you can connect with our community. So you can get to meet the folks in our community that can help you cultivate presence, more presence in your life. So today, let's welcome Roku. We have our Roku channel. If you have a Roku, and if you don't have Roku, I highly recommend it. It's like you can get a device for $30, hooks up to your TV. You can add all the channels that you want, curated, and we're one of them. So we can do that. We love you too, Mandy. So we got a couple minutes left. I want to point you to the summit today, the Flashpoint Live Virtual Summit. What did I say? What if you could take a guy from Long Island, New York, with a baseball bat who spreads peace and love with a baseball bat, a peace builder who starts bar fights, a prolific writer who uses milk, and then a powerful woman who is a superpower empath who should or intuitive who should wear a cape, and then a woman who was near the World Trade Centers when they went down. Not to mention a host of other people. You get powerful breakthrough stories, embracing life at a high level through life's most difficult circumstances, being present with it and turning it into a breakthrough story. That's today at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard. We're going to drop the links here. If you're getting this, on a podcast or one of the TV shows, just Google my name, Austin J. Haynes, Flashpoint Live Summit. You should find it. You can find the YouTube channel. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel where most of this content goes to anyway. And I want to thank our sponsor again. Let's do this. Let's thank our sponsor. And not to mention, send her lots of love. She's in the green room. She's helped me out tremendously today. Make sure you connect with Duchess DJ Love on her social media platforms. She's got books coming out, all kinds of things on traveling like a royal, even on a budget. And she uses travel to cultivate presence as well. I met her at the Eckhart Tolle event. So we have a couple minutes left. I'm just going to allow this moment. DJ, if there's anything you want to share, hugs to you. Juanita, thanks so much for being here from South Africa. Thank you, Michelle, for giving some shout to Duchess DJ. So we got 3 minutes left. I'm just going to allow the moment. I'm going to stand up and then I'm going to come back and say goodbye. Just let today marinate. Grab something. One distinction. If you have one distinction from today's show, I'll invite you to put it in the chat. I think that's good. So one distinction, just put it in the chat, one distinction. And DJ, as the distinctions come up, feel free to share them. Just put your distinction, your takeaway today, your feedback, your thought from today's show. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate you being here. Fabulous and beautiful show. Thank you. Pause and breathe. I'm going to step out. I want to thank you all for being here today. This has been a fantastic show. This has been fabulous for me. I'm so glad you were here today. Love you all. We'll see you next week for another show. I'm looking at another special location that I know you're going to love. This has been Power of Pure Presence, episode 12, September 18th. Thank you all so much. God bless.